Alright, I'm back with another really cool lever to model. You can download this reference image from the Zero Bio Discord. The link is in the description. Bring it in and then press S2 to scale it twice. Press G to grab or go or whatever that is. And let's move this so that the 3D cursor is kind of in the middle of there. Let's press 3 to look from the side and pull it back a little bit. Press 1 to look from the front. Okay, so we're going to model this now. Alright, let's press Shift A, mesh plane, bring that in, and we'll scale it. RX90, Z for wireframe, and it looks like we're ready to go. Okay, cool. I've got all 4 vertices selected, so I'm going to press Shift Control B and pull, and I'm going to roll up for a total of 5 vertices. We'll still keep the poly count relatively low if we can. E to extrude, pull back a little ways in the Z and delete that back face. Go back into solid view, press 3 for face selection and select that. And let's bevel that, Control B and pull and just roll back to 0. So I have just the 2 and then say maybe 1 more. Let's not worry about shading issues right now. Okay, back in wireframe and we're in object mode. Let's bring in another plane and make this. Shift A, mesh plane. We'll scale it to this size approximately, rotate X90, and we're ready to go again. How about that? Press 1 for vertex mode, Shift Control B by the way, and pull, but I'm going to roll back to 0 so I have just the 2 vertices so I can make that notch like that. Alright, so we have that. Let's pull it forward just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to go back in solid view and I'm going to press E to extrude and come out just a little bit. I'll look from the front again. I'll go back in wireframe and I'm going to press, we can do I for inset actually. Pull that in just a little bit so it angles in and then pull it out a little bit like that. Let's go back into solid view so you can see. So we have that. Let's slash key to focus on that and go back into edit mode and 3 for face selection and select that face and delete it. And we'll slash key to come out of there. Alright. And what I'll do is I'm going to bevel these edges. I think I'll grab both of them. Control B, pull just a little bit. I have the 2 and 1 more like that. Now I'm also going to bevel these edges here. So Shift Alt and click, Shift Alt and click, and go all the way around and get these edges right there. Shift Alt and click. Like that. Okay, I'll zoom in a little bit and we'll just Control B and pull, and I'll do it like that. Alright, and make sure that that's resting. Let's select the whole thing by the way, just sort of touching that thing, making contact. Yeah, that's okay. Alright, let's go back into wireframe and let's say we make these things. I'll leave the 3D cursor there and just actually I'll need to see. Shift A, mesh circle. We'll go for 16 vertices. Scale it down, rotate X90 and G and pull it up here. And then we can zoom in. And we'll position that like this. Pull it forward a bit. I have to make a face. I'll go back into solid view. E to extrude and pull back just a little ways and X faces. Get rid of that. 3 for face selection and grab that face and Control B and we'll just use the 3. Alright, let's push that back into here. Okay, I'm going to actually set the 3D cursor to there now and go to wireframe and we'll make this hexagonal bolt here with another circle but with 6 vertices. Scale it down, rotate X90, have to make a face, pull it out, back into solid view. You can extrude and pull back, and we'll just delete that back face. Press 2 for edge selection and A to select it all, and then Control B, pull, same number of segments. And you know what, let's select the whole thing, I'll pull it out a bit, and we're just going to join it right away to this. Control J. I just want to make sure that's in like that. That's going to be fine there. Okay. Now I'll select the main plate and go in, select it all, Shift S, cursor selected, we'll bring it right back to there. I will take this and we will mirror it in the X and in the Z. and I'm going to go ahead and apply that. But you'll notice if I hide these for a second, I thought I didn't have a bolt at one spot. I guess I do have 4 bolts. All right, I'm gonna Alt H. I kind of don't want to have this bolt here. I want to have one missing, so I'm going to do something in Substance Painter. So I'm going to come in, and I'm going to box select there, but Control L in case I miss something, and I'm going to X vertices and delete that bolt there. So I don't have it there. Let's hide this for a moment. So I've got this, and let's go back in here, and I'm going to select this one and Control L, and I'm going to rotate in the Y a little bit. And select that one and Control L. That selects what's linked in case I missed a piece there. And I'm going to rotate in the Y just so they're off a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to take these and this, and I'm going to Control J to join it together. I'll turn on the cavity shader though, so it's a little easier to see what we're doing here. And again, we're not worrying about shading X. We're going to join it all together. Alright, so now Alt H, bring that back. We've got a hole here, so let's go ahead and do that. Shift A, mesh, cylinder. I'm actually going to bring this to 24. I want it to be not 23. I want it to be relatively smooth. Something like that. But I only want it going through the front plate, not the back. So I'm gonna, I'll take this and this, this and this, and we'll slash key to focus on them. Take this piece and do a Boolean difference with respect to that. And we'll delete that. And we have this here. So I'm going to take this part here and pull it up closer. I can actually get rid of that, I think. We'll get rid of that, but I'll leave a little bit of the depth to it. Select that, Control B, bevel, and I'll roll my mouse up a bit more. I'll have a few more segments for that part. Slash key to bring stuff back. All right, so I get a nice texture on that part there. All right, the little plate, nameplate, whatever that is, rotate X90. So I brought in a plane, bring it down, 2 for edge selection, and grab that edge, and then bring it up to there, and scale in the X. Press 1 for vertex selection, and Shift Control B, and bevel, pull. And again, you can have less segments. You could try 3 or 4. Pull it forward. I'll come back here a little bit more forward. Extrude it back just a little bit. Get rid of that back face. Select the whole thing and push it into the surface. And then 3, and select this front face. And Control B, pull. I'm just going to roll back to 0 though, and then 1 more, so I have the 3 I was using before. I think I'm going to join this right now. Control J to there. And I could probably join this to there right now as well. And then we'll keep going. There's little bolts on there, just like little circles. So let's check that out. Okay, so Shift A, mesh, circle. I'll use 16 again. It's all very simple, but hopefully you'll think it looks cool. I have to make face. You can extrude back a little bit and delete that back face. Take that front face, Control B, the same thing we always do. All right, just push it in. We'll look from the front. 3D cursor's right there, so I can put a mirror on this in the X. I'll apply it, and we'll join. So where does that leave us? We have all of this. We're left with the handle. All right, and that's the cool part. And then there's a little sort of disc underneath there. So, okay, my 3D cursor is right there. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring in a circle, and it's going to be 16 vertices. Now, you might want to use more, but I'm going to go with the 16, and I'm going to leave that one right there for the moment. and still in edit mode of this object, I'm going to bring in, not that, I'm going to bring in a UV sphere, and we're going to make this one 16 and 8, and I'm going to move it down here. I'm going to rotate X 90 so the pole is facing us, and then S to scale, and we'll scale it down like this. All right, cool. I'll go back into object mode, so I've got those. Now I think I'm going to actually go into edit mode of both of them, and I'm going to pull them out, and we'll position them in a little bit. Slash key to just focus on those. All right, and solid view. All right, so this is what I have, and what I want to do is I want to build the handle part here, the round part, and then have the shaft of the handle come and join. So here's how I'm going to do this. I'm going to select a piece and Control Alt and 3 look from the side, and you can see it's right down the middle. I'm going to press E to extrude, and I'm going to pull out in the Y until my circle here is right over this dot, pretty much, or this edge is kind of at that edge. All right, let's close it up. Shift Alt and click those vertices, E to extrude, and pull out to here. And then I'm going to come out a little bit more. I can focus on that now, it doesn't matter. Come out a little bit more and just press S. I'm going to do something with that later. Same thing here. Come out a little bit more. S to scale. Doesn't even matter what happens there. Okay, now what I'm going to want is I'm going to want this circle part of the handle to join to this. And I'm going to take in 3 face selection 8 squares. So I'm going to get these 8 squares. If I look from number 1, they should be, you got the center of it right here, 4 quads or faces above and 4 below. And the same thing on this guy. And let's try those 4 and see if those are the right 4. So I've got 4 and I've got 4. All right, then you press Control E, bridge edge loops. All right, now let's bring stuff back and look from the front and go to wireframe. I'm going to bring in an edge loop, slide it down close to here, and then I'm going to scale it, but not in the Y direction, just in the Z and the X. So S, Shift Y, pull, and just make it come down a little bit to match the diagram so it looks something like this. Now once we shade smooth, that will start to look a little bit better, and a subdivision would look fantastic, but we're trying to keep this relatively low poly, which reminds me I should put the statistics on. Okay, now let's come back in, deselect, and Shift Alt and click here. Let's look from the front, and let's just scale this in to about the middle circle, and then looking from the side, I want to pull this out a little ways, and that's why I actually included this diagram, so you can just get a sense that it comes out. All right, you just pull it out as much as you want. So I got that kind of thing. That's probably okay. Look from the front again. E and S come in straight, so that one's flat. I can go back into solid view now, and E come in a little ways. E and S come in, and F to make a face like that. Okay, now we're going to put in a few edge loops. I'm going to drag an edge loop close to here, and an edge loop up here, and I might bevel this, Control B, just with like that many. I'm going to put on shade smooth so I can actually see a little bit better what I need to do here. I'm going to bring an edge loop down maybe, and that might be most of what I'm going to do on that part. Let's slash key to focus just on this. What I'm going to do in the back is I think I will pull this in a little bit, maybe scale it up. I'm going to E and S, I'm going to come back down, and then I'm going to just make a little post. I'm probably not going to ever see that. I'll drag an edge loop here. That's close to what we're going to do. So let's just finish this off by selecting this ring here. I'm in number 2, edge selection. I Shift Alt and click that. Control B and pull, but I don't want one in the middle, just the 2. Like that. E, I'll pull it back a little ways. I'll drag an edge loop up. And then this is going to be a problem here. So I'm going to actually delete that vertex and Shift Alt and click that edge and E and come in like that. Nah, you know what? Maybe I'll make that just one plane, just F. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to Alt N, recalculate outside in case any of my polys are flipped. I'm going to select this and I'm going to Control B and put one segment in there. And we'll get a nice little texture in there. We're not going to see the back, so I'm not going to worry about that part at all. The slash key to bring everything back. Okay, now I just want to have another look at this. And that's probably going to be just fine, actually. So let's look at in wireframe at this thing here. Okay, so there's a little round part in behind, so I'll go ahead and I'll make that. And I think what I'll do for that is I think I'm actually going to go with 24 vertices. So I'm going back and forth here. You won't be able to see it very well. Well, you can see it over here. All right, I want it a little bit smoother. Although maybe that throws things off by having some things a bit smoother and some things less on, and obviously low poly. But I'm going to use 24 and I'm going to rotate that like this and pull it out, and I'm going to give it some height, and we'll work on the whole height thing in a minute. And then I'm going to press E and Alt S, and I'm going to push. I guess I want it to come in like that. Okay, I'm going to just slash key to focus on that. I'll get rid of these bottom faces, not those though. Just like that. Okay, and let's make sure that we make contact like that. All right, and I guess I will bevel these edges, so Shift Alt and click these edges and Control B with just one extra segment in there. Again, not worrying about smoothing quite yet. And then let's see how well this guy goes in. The main thing we need to do, number 3, is make sure that as the lever turns, it clears this part. So I'm going to pull it back to about there, and then I'm going to compensate by bringing this up to about there. Look from the side, go to wireframe, box select this, and just pull it back in so that it's like that. And then maybe it's actually too wide, a little bit wide, so scale shift Y. There's a little bit less room in there, just so you can sort of see it. Let's take this and join. And all right, let's do a shade smooth on that. Don't worry about shading issues yet. And decide if this is okay. I think it's okay for what we want. Let's join it. Okay, so shade smooth on everything. And I'll put on weighted normal and normal's auto smooth on the whole thing. Let's take this and hide it. Let's come in here. I can check, but I don't even need to. You see some stuff's flipped. Alt N, recalculate outside. Okay. We can put on the shadow. I can switch this to both and up these values. Like that. We can put on sort of a metal like matte cap. And that is what I'm going to unwrap and bring into Substance Painter. All right. If we come back and have a look at the statistics, we're coming in just under 3,000 tries for this model. And yeah, I mean, you could even consider getting rid of some back faces here and there, and really on the back of this round part. Not going to worry about that though. I'm just going to go ahead and texture this. Now, I just want to say something real quick about the unwrap. I would do a real simple unwrap. I would take a piece of this and Control L. That gets me the whole handle. All right, I would go U, Smart UV Project, set the island margin at 0.03 or 0.003, and I would get that. There's my handle. Now, I'm going to take this at G, move it out. Then I'm coming into the regular body, selecting that, but not the handle, so I guess I gotta select it and H to hide it. Select all of this, U, Smart UV Project again. All right, Alt H, bring that back. So now I got everything. Now, this stuff needs a texture, but the handle needs a reasonably good texture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this stuff and scale it down. But it's just a little bit bigger than it was. And I'm going to scale this stuff down a little bit. I'll select everything and I'll try average island scale. Nah, I don't like that actually. So I will try now just with Blender pack islands. So my handle is a little bit bigger and the panel is a little bit smaller, but hopefully that's still okay. And I've got that, and we'll give it a try. It's all one piece. So let's go ahead and let's export this as an FBX and bring it into Substance Painter. All right, here it is in Substance Painter, and it's time to bake the mesh maps. So I'm going to press bake. I'm going to switch this to 2048. Check there and uncheck there and just press bake. Okay, now I'm not going to do anything special in Substance Painter. I won't be doing much painting. I'm just going to be applying some default materials and putting them together and doing a little bit of other stuff. So I'm going to delete that layer and I'm going to come over on regular materials. I'm going to search for rust and I'm going to choose this steel rust, drop it in, and that looks good to me. The only thing that I want to change here is the roughness. I don't want it so shiny, quite as shiny. Okay, then I'm going to choose this rust coarse. I'm going to drop it in on top, and I'm going to add a black mask, and I'm going to come over to the smart masks, and I'm going to use dirt ground, drop that in, and that's going to give me this effect, which I think is great because it goes in here, and I really like that look. And I'm happy with that. I don't need to mess with that. I'm going to come back to my materials, and I'm going to search for rust again. And take this rust fine, drop it in, black mask, smart masks, and this one I'm going to use dirt leak dry, this one here. Just on top of that, just gives a really nice effect underneath the handle, and hopefully everything else is looking relatively okay. And I mean, that's basically it, except I want to do one more thing with some normals. I'm going to add just a tiny bit more detail. So I'm going to come up here. I'm going to add just a regular paint layer. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to turn off everything except for normal. Come over here to hard surfaces. And I'm going to choose this one here, I think. Let's drag that in. And let's zoom in a little bit. And make it a bit bigger and just try. Was that one I wanted as a little indentation? No, let me try this one. Not quite sure. Yeah, maybe I'll use that one. It's not very visible at this point. We're going to do something with that. Let's see what else we can do. Let me see what this one is again. Yeah, it's a cool effect, but I was actually thinking of this. I just love this one. Let's make it a little bit bigger, and let's see. No, that's not what I want to do. I want to, let's see, rotate like that. It doesn't really change anything, but I just think that looks so cool, like a speaker or whatever. I'm going to leave that there because I'll show you what we're going to do next. I'm going to call this normal detail. I'm going to drag it under my other layers, and I'm going to add an anchor point. And then you come back up here to this rust, choose that, and come in and scroll down. And you'll see here micro details. It's turned on, it's true, but I don't really see anything happening yet. I'm going to scroll down to micro normal and choose that anchor point. And under here, reference channel, I'm going to choose normal. And that's going to do something right away. I'm going to put that effect on my normals that I added. I'm also going to come up to this one and choose this mask builder. And it should have micro details. It's probably already turned on. It says true. And under micro normal, you can do this with alphas as well. I'm going to turn that and change that to normal. And so, you know, whether or not you think that thing looks any good, I don't know, but I'll leave that there. And then you can decide at this point if you wanted to add a little bit more, just go back to the channel or the layer, and you know, let's say you wanted that thing, just drag that to the normal, and you know, you get that. There is one other thing that I think I might do. I might switch to orthographic and find a decent one. Which one I wanted to use? Was it this one? Yeah, I like that one. I think it was just this one. Well, at any rate, I could this one actually. And I was thinking of just putting these things here, maybe down here. This one up here, and up here, just to add a little bit more. Tab key to zoom in, and then over here we will turn this to anti-aliasing in case we need it. You can activate color profile and choose one that you think looks kind of good, just to accentuate things. I'll just go for this one here for now so you can see it. Just the light. You know, so that's what we're getting. And then you would take these textures and bring them back into Blender, and it's, you know, just under, you know, 3K. So yeah, and again, you know, I probably could have done these bolts differently, and a lot of the details. So that's going to be it for the time being. There's our lever, and it's textured in Substance Painter, and we are done. Okay, cool. Thanks for watching. See you next time.